How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about BBIG. If you guys checked out my previous video, I was saying we wanted to see this stock get to at least $4 to see some strength. I even went out there and put a prediction saying, well, you know what? I think we might close the day at $4.07. And what happened on the Friday? We closed at $4.07. So BBIG is doing exactly what we needed to do. So now I'm going to give you guys an update for tomorrow, for January the 18th. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. I want to make sure you're prepared. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and as well as the short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for BBIG. Let's see how it performed on Friday. So it ended up closing at $4.07, being up 15.30%. On the low, it tested $3.31, and then on the high, testing $4.32. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 205.989 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 44.2 million shares. So when you get this above average volume of buying pressure in BBIG, you're going to have great days like this. Now, when we take a look at a chart, which is the daily chart, we can see from the RSI down below, it is at 70.34. So what does that tell us? Yes, it is in the overbought territory. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 100-day. Yes, we did end up closing right around that 200-day, and we do have strength above the 50-day and as well as the 21-day EMA. So the first thing that I want to point out, we are seeing increasing levels of support from BBIG for the past 5 trading days. So I know many are going to be asking, do you see this cooling off, Dre? So if we do end up having a pullback, where I want to see strength is right at that $4 level. If it decides to break through $4 on a pullback, then I'd want to see it hold up around the $3.80 range. As far as for the upside that I want to see us get to $5. I feel like we ended up seeing a high of $4.32. So us getting right here to 5 and getting past it, things get very interesting, especially since we do have a gap that needs to be filled right here around $5.87. And if we can end up passing that with a lot of momentum and a lot of buying pressure, this is where we can start getting into the $6 range, which will really be a good look for BBIG. And before I close this out, if we end up having consolidation or if it does have a sharper pullback than the 380s, as long as we're able to hold up at least above 350, things are still looking good for this stock. So now let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for BBIG. Scrolling down further on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at recent filings for this year, we have Spire Wealth Management January the 14th with 10,000 shares. We have IFP Advisors Inc. that purchased 500 shares. We also see a closed position which is from a put from XR Securities LLC. We also on January the 7th have Future Financial Wealth Management LLC that purchased 100 shares. And then we see we have a closed position here for January the 6th, Carroll Financial Associates Inc. And then we could see it was a negative change of 100%. Now, when we take a look now at the short interest, the dark pool short volume ratio is at 55.53%. And then for the dark pool short volume, it is just over 73.21 million shares. Scrolling Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 0, updated 11 minutes ago. And then for the short ball fee rate, it's currently not available. And now when we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we can see for the close of January the 13th, it was at 55.21. And then for the close of the 14th, which was a Friday that just passed, it was at 55.53. So what this tells us, BBIG does have short squeeze potential, and if we continue to have strong volume and buying pressure coming into the stock, it will continue to make moves to the upside. So now let's take a look at the order flow distribution.
Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for BBIG. So we can see here on the inflows at 157, and then on the outflows at 161. So we had an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown on the large, it was 29.32. On the medium, it was 97.93. And then on the small, it was 29.46. When we take a look at the outflow side on the large, it was 28.81. On the medium, it was 104. And on the small, it was 28.48. Keep in mind, these numbers are in the millions. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for January the 14th, so the Friday that just passed, it was at 509.63. But we did have an outflow on January the 13th, it being negative, which we covered, being at 821.74. And the 3 prior trading days, we ended up having all inflows. Now, when we analyze the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tend to represent the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the large scale orders that tend to represent the institutions and funds, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, whoa, 211.75%. So what this tells us, there is a lot of traders that are going in and out of this play. Shares are very liquid. It comes with a lot of volatility, but of course on this channel, I show you guys ways how you can make profits off of this. So now let's go into the final thoughts and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for BBIG, when it comes to the overall price action and the chart, it is looking bullish. We are continuing to make higher lows. If we decide to have a pullback or consolidate, as long as we can have strength above $3.50, we are good. But most preferably, if we do have a pullback, I want to see us hold up at least around $3.80 range. If we are able to do this, of course, this is where I'm going to look forward to seeing that strong move so we can literally get to around that $5 level. The reason why this is very key, we do have a gap that needs to be filled around $5.87. And of course, upon this gap being filled, this is where we could look forward to seeing if BBIG could really start taking off and gaining momentum above the $6 level. But again, as far as overall for tomorrow, I want to see us touching into that $5 range. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it still continues to have short squeeze potential. And one thing that is very clear, we're seeing more demand for shares inside of the market. We see that the volume is continuing to build up. So if we see a continuation of this, this is why I'm saying we should be able to get back into the $5 level. So before trading this, just make sure you're doing your homework and you're doing your due diligence and you have a good idea of what your entry is going to be and as well as for your exits. For all of my swing traders out there, like I said, I was talking about BBIG for quite some time on this channel. And most recently when the stock was getting beaten up, I was saying, you know what, as far as the risk to reward ratio, it looks good. And I'm talking about when it was in the low $2 range. So you had an opportunity to add. But if you got in late and you decided to buy shares at the $3 level or even in the $4 range, just make sure you have a good idea of what your exit is going to be and don't get greedy. There's still more plays inside of the market. This is not going to be the only one, so I don't want you guys FOMOing if you don't have to. So I hope you enjoyed this video and I can't wait to see how the stock performs going into tomorrow.